real quick before we get into this video today. I'm gonna give you one more opportunity to enter the giveaway that I released in the last video. You can see that right up here. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go back and watch that. Go understand the rules from that giveaway in that video, and then come back to this video and make sure you comment what it asks you for down below for another chance to win. I'm actually gonna do this twice. So somebody from that video is gonna win and somebody from this video is gonna win. So make sure that you go watch that video and come back and comment what you need to comment. So with that, guys, let's get into this video today. Hey everybody, thanks for checking us out. If you happen to be new, welcome. Well, we were going through Petsmart the other day and we found this epic tank. This is a top fin infinity edge waterfall tank, and that basically means that it has a basin around the bottom of the tank that captures water that spills over the front of the glass. And of course, we had to buy it and bring it home. And today's video is going to be all about setting up this tank. We're not going to do a basic setup on this tank. We're not using plastic plants and colored gravel. This is going to be an absolute epic aquascape. If you like this type of content, drop a like and let's get into this. Now for substrate, I'm going to be using some fluval stratum. However, this little pile here is some mixture between the substrate and the fluval that I recovered from another tank, and I don't want it to go to waste. Now we'll just cover this with some actual fluval stratum, and we want to get a good layer in here. This will be our nutritional layer, meaning that this is what the plants will feed off of, because this will be a fully planted tank. We'll go ahead and get this layer down, and then we'll come back and cap this with some nice substrate. For capping substrate, I'm going to be using this brown sand and crushed rock substrate, and I'm using this particular one because it'll match the rocks that I'm using pretty well. Now I'm going to use this paintbrush and start pushing this substrate up towards the planted substrate, and the reason I do it this way is to keep the planted substrate in place prior to capping it off. If I was to dump the substrate on top of this planted substrate to start, all the planted substrate would be moved towards the front of the tank, and well, we don't want that to occur. Well, let's go ahead and start with a hardscape. We're going to be using a couple of pieces of driftwood that were recovered from other tanks that have recently been broken down. It's already got plenty of beneficial bacteria in it, and it's fully saturated with water, which means that it will stay submerged in the water and not try to float away. Here I'm just trying to get these pieces of wood to fit together to give it a nice structure to hold some of the plants, and as well as to give it a nice aesthetic. I think that this will work perfect, so we're just going to adjust this a little bit and move on to the next part. Now I'm just adding some larger elements of some rocks up into cracks and crevices where it would collect rock if this particular setup was found in nature. Now that we have these elements placed, we're going to use this finer detail brush and pack some of this sand up inside these cracks and crevices to give it a natural look. We actually sell this brush as a part of our terrarium toolkit that you can find at freshwaterscrub.com. Use the code Guppies for 10% off all your orders. And now on to my favorite part. We're going to be planting this thing. We're going to put in some Java fern, some wisteria, some anacharis, a few stems of cabomba. For a pop of red color, we're going to use some broadleaf ludwigia. Let's start by adding some of this wisteria in the back corner of this tank. I like using this stuff in the back because it does grow thick and bushy and tall. As well as this anacharis, this stuff does really great in the back of the tank as well because it will grow very tall and kind of be free-flowing. Now let's put one of these Java ferns right here behind the driftwood. We'll tuck this down behind a rock. This is a rhizome-based plant. You do not want to bury the rhizome in the substrate because it will cause it to rot and the Java fern will die. Now let's go ahead and add a couple of these little red crypts. These are very low growing plants and they look perfect tucked under the driftwood, kind of growing out across the bottom of the tank. Another plant we'll be using for a pop of red color is going to be a red tiger lotus bulb, and this particular bulb should only be buried about half the depth of the bulb. This will allow the plant to root, later allowing you to separate the plant from the bulb, reusing the bulb to grow yet another red tiger lotus. We'll use another one of these red crypts back here in this corner up underneath the leg of this driftwood as well. We'll go ahead and finish off planting the stem plants by adding some wisteria, anacharis, and some cabomba back to this back corner as well. Remember, all the aquatic plants used in today's video are available at freshwaterscrub.com. Use the code Guppies for 10% off all of your orders. One of my favorite parts about this tank is this mat of Christmas moss I've been growing for some time specifically to attach to this driftwood. And I saw MD Fish Tanks do this in a recent video of his, and it looks so cool. So I'm using a piece of cotton thread to attach it. Once it naturally attaches on its own, I can come back and just simply clip this thread away and get rid of it forever. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some larger rocks into this open space here in the front of the tank. Once I'm done with that, this thing will be ready for some water. To dechlorinate, we used our favorite product, API Stress Coat Plus. Let's go ahead and get this pump installed and get some water flowing and see what this thing looks like. And now for the filtration. This comes with a standard filter pad that has activated carbon inside of it. So we rinse that out with some fresh clean water just to get the carbon dust away. That'll slide right down into the slot. This will provide our mechanical filtration. For biological filtration, it comes with two small little bags of ceramic discs. These fit right here between the pump and the mechanical filter pad, and these will provide a place for all of the beneficial bacteria to colonize. Well, now that the aquatic section of this tank is done, we need to go ahead and add some beneficial bacteria. And we're going to use our favorite beneficial bacteria in a bottle, and that is API Stress Zyme Plus. It is always recommended that you allow your tank to naturally cycle before adding fish, but this will just jumpstart it. And with all this driftwood and substrate being from other tanks, with this Stress Zyme Plus, this tank is pretty much ready for fish. We'll go ahead and add this Stress Zyme Plus right here into the biological filtration system of this setup. And now that that is all done, let's go ahead and focus on this basin part of this setup. This is going to be the most difficult to scape. We're going to go ahead and start by laying a very base level of pea gravel on the bottom of this basin. And now let's go ahead and prepare some plants for this basin. I'm going to use some tank water because I'm in the midst of doing water changes to go ahead and wash the dirt away from these plants. This will take care of any pesticides as well as any kind of fertilizer that may have been used in the store. These are fully tropical plants and work perfectly with their root system being submerged in water. They will grow perfectly fine. And now let's start planting this. Well, it had been a few days since I had put this tank together, and it is fully cycled and ready for fish. So we're going to go ahead and get all of our fish in here. But first, of course, we have to acclimate. We are temperature acclimating by just simply sitting the cup in here, and soon we'll start replacing this water with some of the tank water. Well, let's go ahead and get these fish into this tank and see what all we're putting in here. For fish, we have some male and female guppies, as well as a lot of fry that were born waiting to be moved to this tank. We also have a couple of otocinkless catfish that will help with algae control, some feeder shrimp or ghost shrimp that will clean up some of the stuff on the bottom, as well as a couple of corridora catfish that will clean the bottom as well. Alright guys, well this tank has turned out amazing. These guppies have already started breeding. Everything looks great. So if you like these types of videos, make sure you drop a like on this video, as well as make sure you watch the previous video and come back and enter the giveaway. I'm going to release the winner in the next video I release, and I'm going to be doing 2 giveaways essentially, one from that video, one from this video, so you can get 2 chances to win. Thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell, as well as follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Links to both are down below, and make sure you visit freshwaterscrub.com. Use the code GUPPY for 10% off all your orders. And with that guys, we will see you next time.